Well, hey there team, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to some more Carrier Command 2. Oh, bump me mouse. I know we're at the menu, just bear with me. I got a couple of things to catch up on. This is about to come out. Now, I put up a video last night. It'll all depend when this goes up, obviously. But I spent a big chunk of the weekend playing multiplayer with a couple of my mates. I appreciate the devs setting that up for us, and it was a blast. You can check that video out as well. It should be in the same series playlist. I'm not necessarily going to make a different series or anything like that, but I thought I'd just chuck that up just so people get a bit of an idea. I have seen some whispers around forums and all that sort of thing that maybe PvP is where this game will truly shine, and I think that would be a part of it for sure, at least from a meta strategy perspective, taking over islands and that, and when it does actually come to fighting another carrier as well. But I think for the most part the AI does a pretty reasonable job, but the co-op is going to be definitely great. I just thought I'd take a moment to show you the menus and give you an idea of how you can set up multiplayer. It gives you a bit of an idea of the bearing of the island to player ratio, that sort of stuff. It's also probably worth noting that by the time this goes up, I've probably just streamed a collaboration with friend of the channel, Agrippa Maxientis. We've been trying to set something up for a very, very long time, and we've been talking on the back end. We both love this game, so there's a good chance that we've got an archive stream up on the channel of me and him giving that a bit of a go. And you should check him out as well if you like these sort of games. He's roughly about the same size as my channel, and he's almost exclusively military stuff. So yeah, this is right up his alley for sure, whereas I'm a bit more eclectic, right? Anyway, so if we go to game, now the campaign defaults you to versing one carrier with excuse me, I'll have a quick sneeze, with 64 islands. Now if we go to multiplayer and we host, you can have max 16 players and a very intelligent password like poo as well. That always helps. So say we go new game, right? And I go custom instead of campaign. Here's where it's interesting. We can max out at 64 islands. That seems to be the default. Human teams, we can have up to 4, and AI teams we can have up to 4. You can change your starting islands. Interestingly, what this does is it changes the amount of existing islands proportionately. So even though I think it will let me scale all the way up to 64, it won't actually give me 64 starting islands. It'll give me my even split. It'll give me 1/8 of the islands as starting in my territory. So maybe you want to start like that and just get straight into the territory wars. It's an interesting aspect. And then we've got difficulty scaling. As well as far as these different loadouts, intermediate, expert, I'm assuming that's just you start with way less gear. I haven't really played with that. I'm not that worried about it just yet, but I think that's fair to say. You probably just have a lot less ammo, resources, that sort of stuff. Got to crawl before you walk. So we're obviously only going to do one human team, and I might just go 4 of teams all up total. But it does raise the question, is 64 optimized for 4 human, 4 AI? In which case it's sort of a roughly 8-way split, do you know what I mean? And if that's the case, if I'm playing against 4 AI, should I bring it down to 32? You know, it's a bit tough to read, because especially when the campaign is 1 versus 1 on 64, and my mates did agree with me. Well, I wasn't that phased, but some of them were quite vehement about only 2 teams with 64 islands is excessive, right? And I guess if you're getting a multiplayer squad together to play a session, that's ridiculous. Like, we managed to take over like 3 or 4 islands and we played for hours and hours and hours. So like, I don't know, if you really want to sweat with the boys, you can save state the game, because ultimately all it's doing is saving the ammo and all that sort of state, your supply state on your ship. So it's not really necessarily, you know, it doesn't run into the problem that multiplayer saves often run into. I guess the geolocation of your carrier probably would get saved. Also, like we said, 16 players, 4 teams. It's probably safe to say that the game wants you to play with a 4-man crew. So 4 player teams with 4-man crews at 16 players in the server, and potentially with 4 AI teams, so 8 teams going at it. I think that would slap. that would actually be a real lot of fun. But, you know, it's not like it's going to be matchmaking that I understand, so getting 16 blokes together to play it's going to be something else, especially when you have to invest probably like 4 hours or something into it. So it's going to have its issues, but from the hardcore super sweat neckbeard community, and you know, I'm in there, I say it with love, you guys know who you are, right? Then you probably could get that sort of crew together, maybe on the back end in a Discord. Anyway, a little bit of preamble, but I thought it might be worth going over this info because the multiplayer aspect is a very real one, and it's very much worth considering. But yeah, I actually kind of feel like this game will absolutely be peak if you have 4 AI, 4 humans, 64 islands, and potentially if you've just got 4 mates or whatever, like what I've set up, maybe you all get to a point where you all run a carrier each, you know? To get the 8 teams. Anyway, we'll see. So I'm just going to start up like this just to show you, right? The campaign's all good and well. It's got a cool little start. It's got a couple of audio logs, but at the end of the day, this is still the same sort of game mode, straight into it. We're going to give it a go. We're going to start fresh, and this will be our campaign going forward, barring occasional maybe multiplayer collaborations or whatever. I'll potentially stream this as well. I've gotten, dare I say, a lot better at this game. I've got a lot less shit. So, all right, we go straight in. We power it up. Because I've made so many bad mistakes, I've come to realize that you really have to pay attention to ocean current as well. A hyper-aggressive ocean current will get you in all sorts of trouble. Let's start the engine and put it at full throttle, right? So yeah, give you an idea there. There's your islands, there's your players. But having 4 more players, I think just make it more hectic. Like the old days of StarCraft or Age of Empire lands and that. Anyway, so if you go and hit one of these vehicle controls, you can zoom in and you can get an idea. Bounty bar and what is that? Odrosier. But look, one shield, probably worth keeping that in mind. So that's what we're going to do. You could also go over here and have a look at the logistics board because you can get an idea ahead of time what sort of factories they are. Turrets? Okay, that's cool. So what we're going to do is make way to this island here. So I'm going to start turning across. Now, while I do that, wind, I feel like wind is pretty important. It should help inform the sea state, to be perfectly honest. However, because here's the thing, I'll slow down, right? What I have come to realize is that ocean current is a significant thing for land-based amphibious assaults, right? Funnily enough, where we're going, it's all actually pretty dead, but over here, it's significant. If you were to drop in that light blue area, your little cars, or whatever you want to bloody call them, your tanks, I call everything cars on the channel, it's a bit of a meme, people know. Your little cars actually going to struggle, and to the point where they're getting pulled away by the current, and then getting a heavy lift out there is really difficult. The only real way to recover them, well, look at that. The current's starting to turn and take on a bit of an angrier form. Yeah, okay. That's cool. We might get a chance to see it in action. But the only way to really deal with that is like get your boat sort of downstream from them. So it introduces really interesting mechanics from an amphibious assault perspective. So immediately I look at this and I'm like, okay, I want to attack this island. Now, I'm not an expert, this is just what I've picked up along the way, but it's got so much more nuance than I thought at first. I want to go and assault this island probably from that easterly current, right? Because if I release my little amphibious assault vehicles, they will go onto the island much easier, right? Yeah, that current's gotten really strong. That's crazy. That's really crazy. I'd be curious to see, because both current and wind can have effect on sea and swell, which are how you determine sea state at sea. However, you can get all sorts of rogue, unusual situations where they clash with each other and that sort of stuff. So what I was going to get to next is your sort of wind profile as well. Look at this, we're actually going into moderately strong winds. Now, I don't know much about airplane ops, right? I'm a Navy man. That's my background, not to beat the drum. So I'm learning all about this. But between balancing the role of the ship and presumably the waves that help inform that, you can have collisions and crashes into waves. Your drones can crash, which is so cool. Like it's awful, but it's a consideration that you have to take serious. Geez, wow, this current really picked up. So if we're gonna do amphib assault, like to me that's cut and dry. We have to go hard east of the island, and then you can have a look here that the winds are blowing sort of the other way. Now my best guess for doing air assault sort of stuff would be have your bow facing windward, like with the wind. Because if I was an airplane, I'd probably want to take off with the wind, you know, and land with the wind. The opposite, you'd be going into it both ways, you know, because you sort of drive. It's like a drive-through, right? So I feel like what we're doing now is the go. The island is right there, so I don't know if I want to get any more shallow than this. We also want to consider that we don't really want to entice the enemy to shoot us up. So I might throttle off here. Oh, actually, we'll go north a little bit more. So I feel like if I set my... this is all speculative, because I played a match last night in the middle of the night, and all my boats started getting dragged away by the current because I did it basically so incredibly poorly. The other thing is that this current will push our ship further inland, so we're going to have to be cognizant of that. At least though, if we're heading to the current in this particular case, accelerating back out won't be such a big problem. And I'm holding down and trying to press escape, but like having a wheel lock would be a huge thing here. So I feel like the wind alignment's probably king. So there you go, that's good. So what I'm going to say is lock heading, and we'll keep the throttle off. And hopefully we get a depth bloody warning if the ship drifts too far backwards into the island. However, there is a bit of a dead spot around it, which is interesting. So maybe in the dark blue, the ship actually won't drift at all, but I know that it does drift a little. Okay, cool. So I feel like this is the prime position to launch an assault. If I had more crew, I'd probably have the boys already on that, right? So what are we going to do? The first things first is we get what's this thing bloody called? An albatross or something? Let's get an albatross in the sky. So we're going to need, that's A1 slot, S1, A1. Now, chances are they're all just going to be seals with 30mm guns. So what I might do is we start with 4 seals. One of them will be virus bot, but the rest are all just sitting on 40mm, right? So I feel like maybe, and again, I'm just experimenting, I'm going to just dump all of them, and we're going to have a seal assault. Sort of one-to-one weaponry. We'll try and micro the movements a little bit to make sure we don't get into too much trouble. These boats will come out much quicker. And you can sort of convoy them in. We'll send you in first. We won't send the virus bot first, because I think that's just silly. It'd be curious to see how fast it goes, even though we are sort of in a dead spot for current. Ocean current. Oh, there you go. Look at this. We're getting more. Cool. Like, so much so that I feel like you don't want to accidentally overshoot the island, you know? So I feel like maybe we get on the current's line, like that. Something like that. I don't know. I'm experimenting with this. It is very hyper exaggerated. You can chain your things together like that. So maybe, let's try that out. Make a little bloody... See, I haven't given him a move order, but look how much he's drifting on his own, right? Is the carrier drifting? It is. You can see it drifting. Right, so you got to be careful. So that's cool. So let's keep that up as like a sort of amphibious assault display, perhaps. That seems cool. And maybe we, I don't know, maybe wind would help here. We'll get the albatross involved. Not that it really is going to make a huge difference. Let's go to there. Now, people said 2,000. I didn't know why. If you just hold the plus sign down, it maxes out at 2,000. So that makes so much more sense to me. Let's cut straight across that island in case there are rogue elements out there. And then we'll cut around. Like so. Now we've got the albatross in a closed loop. There we go. We're zipping along. We're going fine. Yeah, so I suppose from a, like, okay, takeoff is all good and well, but now they're going to have to fly into the wind and then back with the wind. It's not very strong, but like if we were fighting this island, right, that could really mess with our air ops, I'm guessing, because there is some pretty exaggerated stuff going on in this game. Look how much we've drifted back. I'm going to drive forward. I feel like being out on the edge is probably fine. It's holding this heading. Like I said, we'll try and stay with the wind. Yeah, I like that. Maintain heading. Yeah, it's good. The wind will be shifting, so hard to be sure. Yeah, so he's starting to learn. Alright, so we go 2, we hit R to go auto, and then we hit T twice to go to tracking, which is really helpful. I think a commentator pointed that one out. Now, funnily enough, it's kind of easier to sort of track during the day, I've found. Sorry, during the night. Look, I can see headlights down there, but we're getting... and just touching them once to put them on the radar is a good start. So we're getting some sort of like cloud coverage, I guess. I'm curious. Fog? It's not really fog, is it? But it, you know, obviously it's cloud from like precipitation's not going to play into it. Vehicle team colors, let's do that. So like we are clearly above the clouds a bit there. You can see they're coming out to meet them, which is a little bit frustrating. But we might actually be able to get an eyeball on that with the carrier. Look at that, we've drifted back already. So if we go... it should be rearward, right? I got this right? I'm getting confused. Do I get a compass bearing? It should be west, right? Yeah, there we go. I can see my own markers. Yeah, so this guy here might be a pain in the ass. So let's actually get the carrier gun on that one. It's a bit overkill, I feel. I think we can just start tracking him now. Inactive. Inactive. Oh, okay. I thought that you only had to activate it so you can call support from a vehicle, but clearly not. So you gotta wait for that timer while we paint it down the corner. Figure give my look at my little boats, give them a bit of space to make landfall. There we go, so that should be fine. There you go, he's deleted. Here we go. Oh, right, okay. Maybe I was getting thrown by how the headlights project out. We can worry about spotting them properly later. I just want to sort of... because my dudes are starting to make landfall. Interesting to see how one's so much farther ahead than the rest. Can I, like, jump on this screen from here? Fuck yeah. It's probably because of this... oh, look, I think they're getting caught by the current, actually. Let's do this. Right, you. Any? Yeah, there you go. There's his range. So he's got shots on already, so that's good stuff. Now, the thing is, these guns basically sort of tickle each other to death with them, so... okay, can we not see his health bar because reasons, or... no, he's just not landing shots on him. Fuck. Stop, stop, stop. Oh, he's doing alright. Any? Yeah, there we go. So I'm sort of trying to get in the habit of using appropriate weaponry to the situation, because you have to be careful with how much you use. We might actually put the side thrusters on here as well. Just because of that current, you know? How's he going? He's kind of getting pumped a bit there, so we might back him up. He's given as good as he gets. Any... yeah, because we could just dump the 160 mil rounds and cruise missiles and all that, but if we can sort of... is he out of ammo? He is too. So, now this is interesting. What do we do with him now? What we'll probably do is have him just sit on the island and stay out of trouble. Because... oh wow, look at the current thing dropping through there. And then we can deploy off of the waypoint. The virus bot's going to get involved. Because we're going to want to pick up on the other side, basically. So they're going through the ammo because it's just tickling them to death. But it's sort of... so here's the question. What else am I going to use 30 mil on? So they're in combat there. Hang on. What's going on with my... I don't have to change monitors, but whatever. Let me roleplay. There he goes. Yeah, so at night time it's a lot easier to see what's what. I think that's rounds just shooting past there. No, that's enough for the moment. Yeah, how we going? We're going through the ammo. Oh shit, this virus bot's bloody keen, isn't he? We might actually pull him back. How are we doing for ammo there? Yeah, they're going through it. Let's get the master light on. Now the other enemy's already taken over an island. So I suppose I'm showing off how you could be frugal with ammo, but at the same time, like maybe this is when we go, well, hang on, no time for caution. The enemy is getting away from us island-wise, you know? So maybe we just need to lend some support. God, that tracks so much better, doesn't it? Like, you know, so I guess it's all good and well being frugal with your ammo, but if you're behind the 8-ball, maybe it's bloody time to rip out the gas, you know? I guess I could scout these guys out in anticipation of recovery ops, sort of thing. That sort of thing. And escort in with him. Could probably use some heavy duty air support as well. What if we 20mm autocannon? Bugger it, let's put those on you. Double 20mm, so they're smaller than what the other things are packing. So these re-ammoing. So I think I can say deploy 5. And it will just wait for him to ammo. So you can do the petrol lift as well. But you just got to be careful with it as well. With your sea states, your swell. Might do petrol lift to get them off the island in the end. Some of them. Though, like, then you have a look at the wind condition that we've got here. The wind is coming down to us. And I wonder, like, you know, we're still pretty steady. But it looks like we're going to get slapped by the duality of hard wind and hard current at the same time. And I'm curious how that manifests in the sort of sea state, you know? Oh, whoops, I've got them turned on. Here we go, maintain heading. Yeah, I'm really falling in love with this game. Absolutely. I think we have cleared this island by the look of it. Because you get enemy detecting you warnings as well. And so, look, I'm going to probably finish up there. If I'm going to do amphib recovery, probably pretty sensible to do it maybe in here as much as possible, you know what I mean? However, if I want to say send the petrels out to pick them up, and there's 4 of them, so I'd have to do 2 lifts. I could do it, except I'd be better off bringing the carrier around here to avoid this strong crosswind that's going on there as well. Fucking cool stuff, man. I'm just so happy that, like, I can have all 3 of like, someone looking at these displays will go, what is going on here? Are you actually using all 3 of those for all the data? I'm like, absolutely. I could arguably use more monitors, you know? And it's cool. It's cool that, like, the pursuit of that level of expertise is absolutely part of the draw of the hardcore nerd, right? You know, that's why you get people attracted to becoming, even things like Dota, you know, wanting to be an expert, wanting to understand all the mechanics and all that. I understand the appeal of wanting to be the guy with all the institutional knowledge. You see it in the workplace, you know? That crusty dude that's been there for 40 years and he holds on to all the secrets as hard as he possibly can, because that's his currency, that's his power. And so it's, you know, I know I'm getting a little bit more pie in the sky with my rant at the end, but there is something very cool about mastering, and I'm not saying I'm the master yet, but I'm starting to get my head around some of the more nuanced mechanics of this game. And it makes you feel like a big old bloody boss. Super sweat lord, and I'm here for it. Anyway, team, might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.